So you've set up your iPad initially, you've put your email into the iPad so that you can retrieve emails from people like Apple and your teachers and things. Now we're going to show you how to set up an Apple ID without a credit card.
Well, how do you do that?
Well, the shortcut, if you know Apple stuff pretty well, is you're going to go to the App Store and you have to download a free app first. So you could do a search for Google and then download something like Google Earth. It'll take a second to load, and here's the important part. Instead of using existing Apple ID, you're going to go to the middle part here and create a new Apple ID.
Okay.
You can hit the United States for store, just hit next. This is just basically the iTunes agreement. You're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom and hit agree, and agree one more time. Now comes the real part. What you're going to have to do is set this up with an email account. So we've got a couple of test user ones we're going to do. So we're going to plug in here one of our test users. Okay, put 4 in there. No. Okay, great. Now, our password has to be something that you think about ahead of time. And you'll have a little form here that you can fill out. But there are some Apple requirements that are pretty important. Password must have at least one letter. It must have at least one number. It has to have a capital letter and some small letters as well. And you also can't have consecutive characters that are the same, so you can't just do 11111, and you can't have the same as your account name, so you can't just use your email address as your password as well. Has to be at least 8 characters, and you can't use common words like truck. Alright? So,
all part of the Apple security system.
That's right. We're going to type ours in here. We're going to have to repeat that. Great. Now we have to choose some security questions here. So when we choose our security questions, it's going to prompt you for some questions that may or may not mean much to you. But you do want to write them down on your student information card here, down at the very bottom, just so we can remember them. You can hand them to your advisory teacher or keep them on your own. So let's choose a couple of those questions.
What is the first name of your best friend in high school?
Well, my best friend in high school was named David. So let's put down David for that one.
Next question. What is your dream job?
My dream job is to be a teacher. So I'm going to write that down. Make sure you make it's a capital. Make sure you understand that it's a capital T, because if you're asked for these questions again, you have to make sure that it's a capital T. So make sure you remember that.
What was the first name of your first boss?
The first name of my first boss was Jack. Great. Now for your optional rescue email, you can do a couple of different things. You can put in another email address, not the same one you just put in for your Apple ID. You could do a different one. Now one of the things that I might ask you to do is an email address that we have set up for you. It's called iPadRescue@luhs18.org. Okay, so iPadRescue@luhs18.org is basically just an iPad rescue that all comes to the same email. It's a rescue email. It's not a big deal. You can use it or you can use your own if you want. Your own might be easier actually, because all these get funneled through our administration. Next we have to put in a date of birth. Alright, I'm going to put in my date of birth here. Now you want to remember this too. Okay. Alright, and I usually go unsubscribe and unsubscribe. And then we're going to go to the next step here. So you put in your personal information and a couple of security questions and go ahead to the next step. Now this is tedious but important. The none part here needs to be checked. Great. and we don't have a code that we're going to enter. The code is if you have a gift card or something like that.
And this can be used to get more, and these gift cards are used to get more money to purchase more apps in the future.
You do have to put in a billing address. You have to have a title, so Mr. or Miss or Doctor. And I'm going to put in actually my name here, Noel. All right. But then, because I don't necessarily want them to have my personal information, I'm going to put in the school address. So I'm going to put in 736 Route 15 West. All right. And then I'm going to scroll down here. I'm going to go to call it Hyde Park. Select a state, Vermont, and then put in the zip code, 05655. The phone number, again, you want to hesitate putting in your own, but you can put in 802-851-1280, which is just a school number. So now comes the exciting part, because we've got all that information in there. It's been a little tedious. We're going to hit next.
Again, this is all part of the Apple security system in case of fraud alerts or hackers.
And you will see that I have been sent an email to verify. So now I should be able to go back to my email. And if I scroll to the top, I will see that it says, please verify the contact email address. I'll hit contact email. And right in the middle here, it says verify now. Go ahead and hit that. Now this is going to be the test. We're going to see if we remember our Apple ID. You have to type that in one more time. At LUHS 18.org, and the password one more time. And if we get this password correct, which hopefully we do, then we'll be able to move on and we'll have our Apple ID set up. I usually put save the password on there. Alright, and the email address has been verified, which means our Apple ID is ready to go.
Now you can download free apps from the App Store anytime you please, but make sure they're appropriate with your teacher.